You have reached Red Steele's Douglas Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I'll be reviewing Transformers Legacy Evolution Twin. Transformers Legacy Evolution Twincast and Autobot Rewind. But before I get to the actual review, I just want to go over some of the awesome details on this packaging. Up front here, a typical display window showing you both the figure and all its accessories inside. Up here you have 8+, which is the age requirement for this figure. Near the corner here you have the Takara Tomy Transformers Generations logo. Along the side here it says Transformers, and over here you have a beautiful illustration of Twincast in his boombox mode. And over here it says Twincast and Autobot Rewind. Below all of that you have the Transformers Legacy Evolution logo. Down here you have the Hasbro emblem. Down here it says it is a Voyager class figure. And down here it says it is part of the whole plastic-free packaging thing. And on top of the packaging here, again you have the Transformers Legacy Evolution logo. And over here you have a QR code. And once you scan that QR code, it takes you to a website where you can read Twincast's tech spec. And on the side of the packaging here, you have two cool profile pictures of Twincast in his robot mode. The other side here, you have this beautiful montage of all the Transformers from Legacy Evolution, starting with Dead End. Over here you have Optimus Prime. Over here you have Tarn. You have Leo Prime. Below that you have Needle Nose. Over here you have Crosscut. And over here you have the Dinobots and the Junkions. Again, here it says it is part of the whole plastic-free packaging thing. And over here you have the Transformers Authentic logo. And on the back of the packaging you have all of the figure's features, such as Twincast in his robot mode and Twincast in his boombox mode. Over here you have Rewind in his cassette mode and his robot mode, and up here you have the Evo Fusion thing. Then in the corner here the Hasbro logo. Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class Twincast and Autobot Rewind. Twincast was released on March 25th, 2023 with the suggested retail price of $35.99, and he was available at all major retailers. Twincast was released along with the other Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class Wave 2 figure, Metal Hawk. Twincast is a Transformers Headmaster inspired figure that converts into his radio mode in 20 steps. His accessories include Rewind, a scope blaster, and instructions. Twincast stands 6.5 inches tall, and he is meant for fans ages 8 and up. Now I'm going to go ahead and convert Rewind from his cassette mode all the way to his robot mode. The first of that transformation, put these legs down here, let's fold them out, just like that, and just like that. Step number 2. You want to these legs now, you want to bring them down just like this, get to the other side, bring them down just like that. Step number 3. We're going to take Rewind and turn his leg in just like this, get it to the other side, take that leg in, turn it in just like this. In step number 4, you want to turn Rewind all the way around. Instead of his back, you see his head. You want to go and pry his head up, just like that, and bring it up just like this. Or step number 5, the head just pulled up, you just want to go ahead and turn that all the way around, just like this. In step 6, then you're going to take these arm pieces right here, kind of pull them out just like that, and just like that. Now in step 7, you have these pieces right here, then I want you to rotate forward, just like this, and just like that. For Rewind's 8th and final step, you just want to bring the arms down, just like this, and just like that. And now you have Rewind in its full robot mode. Next, I'll go ahead and convert Twincast from his robot mode all the way to his robot mode. But the first thing you always want to do before you transform any of your Transformers you want to remove all the weapons and accessories. So I'm going to take his scope rifle. We'll put that off to the side. This is the first step of the transformation. You want to turn the Twincast all the way around. That's his backpack right here. You want to open it up just like that. For step number 2, you want to take Twincast's head. You want to flip it into his back just like that. On step 3, you want to take this backpack right here, close it right up just like that. Step number 4, you want to turn Twincast all the way around. You want to bring his arms out, kind of in a T-pose, just like that, and just like that. Step number 5, you want to turn Twincast's forearms up. This is a swivel joint right at the biceps. You want to turn it up, just like this. Get to the other side, turn that forearm up, the swivel joint right at the biceps, just like that. Step number 6, there's a hinge joint right here at the forearm. You usually want to take the fist and turn it down just like that. Do it to the other side, get that fist, turn it just like that. In step 7, the forearm here is hollowed out and there's a hinge joint right there. You want to turn the forearm so it goes over the bicep, just like this. Go and do it to the other side, take that forearm, bend it right at the elbow, so it goes right over the bicep, just like that. Step number 8, and once you go ahead and bring the arms down, just like that. Step number 9, get these red speakers down here. You want to go and push them in and flip them around just like that. Do it to the other side, to that speaker, flip it around just like that. Step number 10, you got his feet right here. You just want to go ahead and flip his feet up just like that, and just like that. Step number 11, get this whole bottom portion right here. Then once you go and rotate that all the way around, just like that. Step number 12. Right here you got 2 blue panels on the legs. You want to go ahead and flip these panels out, just like that. Get it to the other side, flip this panel out, just like that. Step number 13. At the top of the blue panels, you have these hinge joints right there and right there. And there's another panel on the inside right here. You want to go and flip that panel up, just like that. Do that to the other side, you have this panel right here. You want to flip that up, just like that. Step number 14, you want to take this whole bottom portion of the leg here. You want to turn it out just like that. You want to go and do that to the other side, turn it out just like that. Step number 15, right here you have this blue panel. There's a hinge joint at the very top. You want to go ahead and flip this blue panel up just like that. Step number 16, on the side of the thighs here you have a tab right there and right there. Inside the forearm where the fist used to be, you have a porthole right there and right there. You want to swing the leg up so it goes right into that porthole just like that. Go into it to the other side, just make sure it swings right in that porthole. It takes a little bit of finagling, just like that. Step number 17, you get this panel right here. All you want to do is flip that back down, just like that. Step number 18, get a couple of tabs. You got a tab right there, you got a tab right there, and a porthole right there, and right there. You want to flip the leg so those tabs go right in that porthole, just like that. Do it to the other side, take that tab, put it right in that porthole, just like that. Step number 19, you want to turn the Twincast all the way around. Get these pieces right there and right there. So let's go ahead and untab them and bring it up just like that. Do it to the other side, take that handle, untab it, and bring it up just like that. For Twincast, 20th and final step. See those handles now? You got this little groove right here, and you got this little tab right there. You want to make them meet in the middle. You want to make sure that tab goes right into that groove, just like that. And now you have Twincast in its full radio mode. Now that Twincast in its radio mode and on my display table, I just want to go over some of his play features and accessories, first by talking about his scoped rifle. And according to the instruction, there's a way to store the scoped rifle while Twincast is in his radio mode. And you do that by turning Twincast all the way around. The center of his back right here, you see a little tab. Well, on the hilt of the gun right here, there's a little slot right there. I don't know if you guys see it. You take that handle now and you push it right over that tab, and now you have his rifle stored while he's in his radio mode. But personally, I think it's a pretty cool play feature, but I'm not a big fan of storing your weapons on your Transformers while they're in our alt modes. So I'm going to take that rifle, put it off to the side. Because the next accessory I'm going to talk about is rewind. And what a lot of you might not know is he's something called a cassette tape. And cassette tapes and cassette players were a huge craze back in the 80s, early 90s, because that was like your only means of carrying around your own personal choice of music, where you could play your own playlist or whatnot. Nowadays you have it on phones, you have it on iPads, and you don't really have any physical means of playing music anymore. It's all streamed. But back then, the only way we could really play our music was through tapes, back in the 80s at least. And what tapes were little pieces of plastic boxes. They're little plastic rectangular boxes just like this. Little reels of tape inside of them. And what you needed a cassette player to play these tapes so you could hear your music. Either you could make your own mixtapes or you could buy like albums from the store. And these pretty much replaced records, and later on, these became obsolete once the 90s rolled out with CDs. But in order to put rewind inside of Twincast, you need to push these little buttons right here and it opens up that tray. Then you go ahead and you slide them in. You close it up, and all these buttons right here will pretty much play, rewind, forward, fast, record, and stop. And that's pretty much a standard feature in a lot of these radio/boomboxes. And boomboxes and radios were a huge craze back in the 80s, especially boomboxes. What they would do with boomboxes, they would bring them out, lay them out in the street, play your music out in the streets, and you would dance around your boombox. Either you would break dance or just street dance. It's a very big craze, or you see people walking down the street with these things on their shoulders. But they were everywhere in the 80s, and then it switched over to portable Walkman, but I mean, nothing could top the nostalgia of boomboxes. And the reason why these tapes became more prevalent nowadays is because of the whole nostalgic boom, and with the whole anniversary with the Transformers the movie that came out back in '86, they happened to start releasing Blaster again, and it's nice to see Blaster in updated form, which actually has cassette tapes, because for a while they're trying to replace the cassette tapes because they believe that kids did not really realize what cassette tapes were. And there was really no way of doing CDs, transformable CDs or whatnot. And I remember they were trying to, I think they brought out a rewind and eject version that were like little portable music players, MP3 players. But I mean, even that technology is obsolete. But nothing will beat the whole nostalgic boom. And if you go in an antique shop, you'll see a radio cassette tapes being sold there, because there is a big market for that right now, and there is kind of like a demand for that sort of technology, even VHS back in the 80s. But I'm Rad Steele, and I love anything that comes from the 80s. So Twincast, Blaster, whatever you want to call him, he has a big place in my heart, and so do boomboxes. But speaking of Twincast is actually a redeco of Kingdom Blaster, which I don't have on hand, but I do have my Studio Series Blaster. I already packed away my Kingdom Blaster after I replaced him with my Studio Series as my definitive Blaster. And as you can see, both figures are identical, just different paint schemes. And this paint scheme's more matching the animated model from the Generation 1 Transformers the movie from '86. As you can see, because the original Blaster for Kingdom had a very similar paint scheme to Twincast. He was just red and gray. The tray was also yellow and translucent. Here it's painted so it matches more what looked like in the movie. But both figures are identical, and I can rotate them around so you can see what they look like from all different angles. I mean, you still have a lot of the issues I have with this mold is the back here, but you're not really going to display your Blaster or your Twincast from the front. But you see a lot of the leg kibble, you see a lot of the arm right there, there's a lot of gaps right there. But other than that, it's a great figure from other angles. If you're going to have it displayed like this, you see very little of the flaws from the back. I'm going to go take Blaster, put him off to the side, because I'm going to go ahead and bring in the original Twincast from Transformer Headmasters. And as you saw when I introduced or did the introductory for Twincast, I mentioned that he was a Headmasters inspired figure. And I mean Headmasters because in Japan, after season 3, the continuity kind of split, where Japan went on to their own continuity, where the next series after season 3 was Headmasters. And realistically, in Japan, they only had 2 seasons. They combined season 1 and 2 and released it as one season. Then season 2 was pretty much Transformers 2000, I believe, in 10. This will be after the movie, so that was our season 3. Then after that, 2010, they went right into Headmasters, then Master Force, then I believe Victory, and they kind of went off in their own branch. But what Blaster was he had a fight to the finish with Soundwave and Headmasters, and they got badly or fatally damaged, and they rebuilt Blaster into Twincast. Same guy, just different color scheme, you know, and I mean, he still had all the same playability, but the only difference between this figure and the original Blaster is they remolded the tray so it can hold at least 2 tapes, because the original Blaster wasn't meant to hold any tapes, and you just push the buttons down. I know my figure's a little old, and you can stick cassette tapes inside this tray right here. Pretty cool figure. If you guys are doubting that this is even the original Twincast, I do have the box here. It's a little beat up. It's pretty old. And it's from the Headmaster series, and it did come with Steele jaw. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put Twincast back front and center, because this is a great figure. And I'm actually going to rotate him around so you guys see what it looks like from all angles. I'm very happy I got him, and I'm very surprised that they brought him out for Legacy Evolution. It's just so cool that they did that, because, I mean, even that with Metal Hawk and a few other figures that came out in the Japanese continuity, so there's no telling what they're going to release for this whole recent Legends or Generations toy line. Just great that they brought out Twincast. Now that I have Twincast in his robot mode and on my display table, I once again want to go over some of his play features and accessories. First, I talk about his scoped rifle. According to the instructions, there's a way to arm Twincast with the scoped rifle while he's in his robot mode. That is because the handle of the scoped rifle is actually a 5mm peg. Each one of his fists has a 5mm porthole. Just plug that handle on one of his fists, and now you have Twincast armed with the scoped rifle. And this scoped rifle is very fascinating. It has a lot of great bolt detail. You have the stock detail, you have the scope detail. You can see some screws right there. The barrel detail with the hand grip right here. You even got that hole that carried on from the Generation 1 toy and the animated model from Generation 1 cartoon series and movie. Pretty nicely done. But I'm going to put this off to the side. There's another play feature I want to go and talk about. That is his right fist right here. And it's molded with his fingers sticking out. That is so that he can go ahead and push this button underneath his tray right here to deploy his cassette tapes right here. And as you saw in the animated series, the cassette tapes would shoot out of his chest and transform into little robots. And the robot that he comes with is Rewind. And Rewind is really nicely done. You got the gold paint deco in the front here. But for some reason they decided to mold them out of a black translucent plastic. And that was a choice they also made with the Legacy/Kingdom version of Blaster, where he came with eject, and he was molded out of like a blue translucent plastic. But later on, when Blaster re-released for the Studio series, they molded him where his deco more matched the movie, so he was no longer translucent. He was like a solid light blue color. But I'm hoping later on they're going to release another version of Rewind where he's a solid black color or gray color, whatever color they're going to mold him in. But I do really think this one is really cool, and it's nice to have both Eject and Rewind in my collection, like definitive. And later on they're going to release Steel Jaw from the Studio series, which is also going to be compatible with both Twincast and Blaster. And also with Soundwave's cassettes are all compatible with Twincast and Blaster. Like right now they have Rumble, Ravage, Frenzy, and Laserbeak right now. And later on with Legacy is going to release Soundwave. They're going to have the Buzzsaw version of this whole universe, so that they'll all be compatible with each other, which is really, really nice. I'm going to go ahead and put Rewind off to the side, because like I explained earlier on, he is actually a redeco of Kingdom/Legacy Blaster, and later on Studio series. And the redeco is pretty much just a different paint scheme, but instead of just paint, they remolded them out of different colored plastic too. So the color scheme for Twincast is more like a red, blue, gray, and yellow. Well, let me go ahead and bring in my Studio series version of Blaster. I don't have my Kingdom/Legacy version right now because I kind of packed them away after I did the review for this fellow right here. But his color scheme more matches the animated model from the Generation 1 Transformers the movie 86 version, where his tray is colored in. Because the Kingdom version is more matching this version of Twincast, where it's just a plain tray with the symbol and a translucent black plastic right there. But this is colored more to match the color scheme for the animated model from the Transformers the movie. Ooh, nice done. You still have that feature where you can just push the buttons in, the tray opens up. Like I said, all the cassettes are compatible with each other, which is really, really cool. But he's pretty much the exact same figure, just different color scheme. Well, let me go and rotate them around so you can see what they look like from all angles. They're both really cool figures, and I'm very happy to have them. And as you can see, these figures are more designed or engineered from the animated model from the TV series. Then they just went ahead and engineered the alt mode from that. The boombox, radio mode, whatever you want to call it, was engineered from the robot. So that's why you saw a lot of that kibble in the back where you can see the legs and the arms. But the robot mode, you don't see any signs of the radio anywhere, and that's made by design. I'm going to put him off to the side because I want to go ahead and put this blaster back in his fist. And I want to go ahead and take rewind, put him off to the side too, because I want to go ahead and bring in my Generation 1 version of Twincast. And I'm not sure if it was the thing with the animated series, but Twincast with Generation 1 came with a red rifle. So I was kind of baffled as to why he came with a black rifle. I haven't really watched the Headmaster series in a very long time, so I don't know if that's just more based on the animated model from the Headmaster cartoon series. Because as you all know, and I don't know if I really got into this too much into detail, but I mentioned earlier on during the whole boombox or radio version, radio part of this review, that the continuity kind of split off from the U.S. continuity when it went over to Japan. And after Rebirth kind of ended in the United States. Well, in Japan, they did not do the Rebirth saga, which was kind of a good move, and they went ahead and they went their own continuity and went with Headmasters. It was more based on the Headmaster toy line, were the main characters. And during that whole transition, Blaster had a fight to the finish with Soundwave, like I mentioned earlier on, and they fairly wounded each other, and Soundwave was rebuilt as Sound Blaster. Well, the Japanese name for Blaster was Broadcast, and Broadcast was rebuilt into Twincast, which kind of makes a little bit more sense when you put the two names next to each other, because going from Blaster to Twincast, it's like, well, what's a Twincast? But Broadcast was his name in Japan, so that's where it makes a little bit more sense. So he was rebuilt into Twincast. And as you can see, even with Generation 1, he's just a redeco also of Generation 1 Blaster. Very basic, and this is the authentic Generation 1 Twincast, and I showed you the box earlier on. And you can see that the legs are a little bit yellowing. But I mean, even with a lot of the stuff that carried over to the legacy version of Twincast, I mean, you see the speakers on the legs, the feet. There's a lot of stuff traditionally carried over. Even that big hole I mentioned earlier on in the middle of the rifle is right there. And you got the stock and the scope, and Legacy went further into detail with the rifle, which the rifle was way detailed. Really, really cool. But I'm going to take my Generation 1 Twincast, put them off to the side, because this is all about the whole Legacy Evolution Twincast. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, and while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Rad Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.